Humanity's first maps were of the stars. Created millennia ago, they were dots charting the night sky painted upon cavern walls on Earth. One wonders if those original map makers ever imagined that one day their descendants would get to visit those stars. Though the methods have drastically changed, the Imperial Cartography Centre, ICC, carries on that proud tradition of charting celestial objects. This UEE government agency is best known for their deep space scanning and astrographical stations that search for jump points, and for the elite Stellar Surveyors unit that assesses newly discovered systems. Yet, the responsibilities and reach of the ICC extend far beyond those two departments. From working with the Ark to keeping the star map current, to tracking the Bear Comet as it crosses the Stanton system, the Imperial Cartography Centre is essential to modern space travel. Once Nick Croshaw successfully piloted his ship through the first jump point, aspiring explorers flooded the stars, obsessed with helping humanity expand its reach ever farther. However, the nascent days of space exploration were fraught with danger. Experimental and unreliable equipment paired with a vast, uncharted expanse led to the tragic disappearances of many. Humanity grappled with how to govern their growing domain. The various national institutions had not yet unified, so there were few protocols in place to deal with the discovery of new systems. That led to Nemo's 2364 discovery date coming into question during a famous legal case where two companies argued over who owned the coordinates for the jump into the system from Fora. Meanwhile, the government hid the discovery of Banshee in 2317 from the public for years out of fear that its powerful pulsar was a safety concern. After the United Nations of Earth finally formed in 2380, they incentivized explorers to report their discoveries to the government, but left the private sector to chart new systems. This occurred because a contingent of prominent and powerful politicians was dedicated to keeping the new UNE government as lean and efficient as possible. They believed an industry within the private sector would rise to fill the gap, and they were right. For a few centuries, this arrangement worked relatively well. Initially, there were numerous cartography companies with the ships and technology to chart systems. However, it wasn't long before conglomerates acquired the most promising firms and slowly pushed out the rest. A few non-profit and academic institutions survived the culling and continued to provide detailed maps to the public for free or at a nominal cost. But due to a lack of funding, their products often took years to reach the market after a new system was discovered. Over the years, the government received an increasing number of complaints against cartography companies for egregious inaccuracies or tiered pricing schemes that made detailed maps unaffordable to many consumers. One particular heinous example was when the Monroe mapping concern left a whole asteroid field off a map of Hadrian since they had promised exclusivity to a mining company. This led a number of politicians to lobby for increased oversight. It finally reached a tipping point with the Pallas incident. After discovering Pallas, Gaia Planet Services failed to properly scan the system before attempting to terraform Pallas 3. Only then did they discover it was already occupied by the Xi'an, an unknown species at the time. Realizing regulations were needed to govern the charting of new systems, the Government Cartography Agency, GCA, was created in 2531. Initially, the GCA was tasked with charting and scanning all new systems and ensuring that the most current geospatial information was available to the public. When Ivor Messer empowered himself as Imperator in 2546, he realised that the GCA was in a key position to control the knowledge of the known universe. Not long after he was sworn in, private mapmakers got word to shutter their operations. Mapmaking was nationalised, and the GCA renamed the Imperial Cartography Centre. Under Ivor Messer, an astronomical amount of credits was poured into the ICC. Companies with strong ties to the Messer regime received massive orders for top-of-the-line scanning equipment and were granted no-bid contracts to construct deep space scanning stations. The ICC quickly embedded itself into a number of government agencies and organisations, including, most importantly, the military. Deep space scanning stations kept an eye on Periline systems and, eventually helped monitor Vandal clans on the Western Front. Without any private sector competition, the ICC became an essential agency and earned a degree of autonomy not afforded to other agencies under Messer's rule. Eventually, the ICC put that political independence to use. In 2715, 3 years after the fall of Orion to the Vandal, Messer VIII ordered the system and all jumps to it removed from the UEE's non-military maps for the public good. ICC Director Loretta de Biasio refused, claiming that it would be more dangerous for people in systems connected to Orion not to know exactly where a clan of Vandal might suddenly appear. The Imperator was infuriated by the ICC's defiance and threatened to drastically slash the agency's budget. But making matters worse for the Imperator, prominent members of the military came to de Biasio's defense. Some even threatened to resign if she was fired or the agency's budget struck with draconian cuts. There's evidence that retaliatory measures were planned against de Biasio for her disobedience, but Messer VIII was stabbed to death in his bed before they were enacted. And so, even though the ICC was long associated with the Messers, it survived their downfall. The agency had ingrained themselves too deeply into the fabric of the Empire to be discarded. It had also displayed enough independence to avoid the name change many other agencies received to erase associations with a darker time. Today, the ICC scans for jump points from their numerous stations, provides data to the Ark to keep the star map current, and much more. The ICC is also home to one of the most prestigious scientific organisations, the Stellar Surveyors. This elite unit, composed of multi-talented individuals from both the public and private sector, are the first to visit and chart new systems after they are discovered. In the 29th century, their assessment of Stanton convinced politicians that it would be perfect for a system-wide business park. Recently, they discovered the Cabal system, only to find abandoned Tavaran cities on Cabal 3. They've also been up against their most difficult challenge ever, exploring and mapping the Tamsa system and the black hole at its centre. Charting the way ahead may be the motto of the Stellar Surveyors, but it's also an appropriate maxim for the entire ICC. Whether standing up to the Messers or finding jump points that introduce the UEE to new worlds, the ICC clearly has its sights set on the future.
What's that? You want a NordVPN ad? Well, you've got one. You should get yourself some NordVPN. You can go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer or use the links down below. If you want a VPN to help you with accessibility, security, and or privacy on the internet, then NordVPN has got all of that. And it's on a huge discount if you use my links. Oh, click those links. Every month we have a ship giveaway, and we're giving away an RSI Meteor, that new medium fighter with lifetime insurance and a gameplay package for Star Citizen. Everything you need to play with a cool fighter and pew-pew some fools. Just comment on any of our videos made during this month to be in for a chance of winning that. Something else that you might like to do is like, share, subscribe to our videos. There's a join button underneath as well. There's Patreon. You give us a little bit of money each month and it helps out the channel immensely. Occasionally we have some exclusive videos. Come to my Discord, discord.gg/BoredGamer. Also, you should comment on all the videos, not just because of the giveaway, but also because you can give me feedback. And I want to say a massive thank you to the people that have supported the channel via any medium. But genuinely, you guys that go the extra mile to use that join button or Patreon, it is genuinely so appreciated. Thank you so much.